Hi, this is Kazi Shahid, welcoming all of you to another video of English for Life. In this video, I'm going to focus on present perfect and its uses. Present perfect can be used in three different ways. But before I tell you what are those three different ways, let me tell you the two important points that you should keep in mind when deciding on whether to use present perfect or not. When you are mentioning the time when something happened, you can't use present perfect. For example, you are mentioning the time when you bought the computer. I have bought a computer last week. No, you can't say it. When you are talking about somebody who is already dead, when you are talking about what he or she did during his or her lifetime, you can't use present perfect. Like Shakespeare has written many sonnets. No, you can't say this. Shakespeare wrote many sonnets. So these are the two important points you should keep in mind. When mentioning the time when something happened, no present perfect. When you're talking about somebody who is deceased, and you're talking about that person's lifestyle and what he or she did during his lifetime, you can't use present perfect. Now, let's focus. What are those three areas where present perfect should be used? Number one, when you talk about the result of a past action, you use present perfect. For example, I have bought a new computer. But if you mention the time when you bought it, you have to use past simple. Like I bought the computer last week. So without mentioning the time, I bought a computer. It's okay. So you're talking about the result of a past action. Number two, when you talk about your experiences. For example, I have visited many famous places of this country. I have met many famous people. I have stayed in many expensive hotels. I have eaten different types of food. So these sentences will be in the present perfect because you are talking about your experiences. And number three, when you talk about something that happened, is happening, will probably happen in the future, you use present perfect. For example, you lived 20 years in this city, you are still living here in this city, maybe you will live even in the future. In this case, you can say, I have lived in this city for 20 years. Well, you may say, hey, this is the sentence we use, present perfect continuous. I have been living in this city for 20 years. Why is it I have lived in this city for 20 years? Well, I have been living in this city for 20 years and I have lived in this city for 20 years. Both of these sentences are same in meaning. I have used this computer for 1.5 years is equal to I have been using this computer for 1.5 years. Same sentence. This is one area which was not introduced to us when we learned this tense in the school or college, and that's why it becomes a problematic issue to some of us. Okay, you should not use it in present perfect. You may use it all the time, present perfect continuous tense in this case, but when somebody uses it, don't think that this is a mistake. So let me remind you what I talked about in the name of describing present perfect. I said that there are three different ways of using present perfect tense. Number one is when you talk about the result of the past action, like I bought a computer. Number two, when you talk about the experience, like I have visited many famous places of this country. Number three, when you did something you're still doing or maybe you will do in the future, like I have lived in the city for 20 years. I have used this computer for 1.5 years. And you should keep in mind these two important points, that when you're talking about a dead person, you should not use present perfect, talking about what he did during his lifetime. When you are talking about something by mentioning the time when something happened, you should not use present perfect. You can't say, I have come here yesterday. You should say, I came here yesterday. Well, that's all I had to say about present perfect today. In the next video, I will bring some more important things, of course, and hope that you will watch that too and share with your friends. Thank you for watching.